You haven't yet died. Okay, fair enough. You haven't yet been to space. You haven't yet been punched by a wild gorilla. You haven't yet dislocated your thumb while missing a clap. You haven't yet murdered someone. Hopefully. Okay, so maybe you have done some of those things, but the only thing I can guarantee you have never done is die. Right? I mean, how could you be watching this video if you've died? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but people have died and then come back to life. People have been pronounced clinically dead. Heart stop pumping, lungs stop breathing, lights go out, and then boom, you're back to life with maybe a bit of CPR or some hospital grade drugs or some advanced hospital techniques. Okay, so maybe not death, but is there anything I can guarantee you have never done and could never do? Well, just off the top of my head, it's not a very easy question to answer. I mean, convincing someone in the year 1900s that humans would step foot on the moon would not be an easy task. We didn't even invent flying until 1903, and even then the Wright brothers, the first people to fly, didn't even believe it would ever be possible to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, something we only did in a short time later. And then we set foot on the moon a few decades after that. So can we really guarantee anything you can't do? Well, the speed of light is a good starting point. You can't go faster than light. Period. Now, I will explain more in another video, but essentially the speed of light isn't just the speed of light, it's the speed of all electromagnetic waves, which light is a part of, but also gamma rays, radio waves, microwaves, or UV rays from the sun. In fact, it's also the speed of gravity. So the speed of light is actually more like the speed of causality. I can't cause something to happen in another point in the universe faster than it takes for light to travel that distance. Okay, so the speed of light. Well, what about wormholes? Wormholes are theoretical holes in the fabric of space-time that allow you to get from one point in space to another faster than light can by shortcutting the universe. Okay. Only problem is we've never found a wormhole. Although they mathematically work out, so you could argue that if it's mathematically true, that we could potentially be able to make it. Although if you were to go faster than light, or causality I should say, you would easily cause a causality paradox within the universe, potentially ending all of existence as we know it. But as I said, that's another video for another day. So maybe we can't even rule light out. We can't know with 100% certainty. We can't actually know anything with 100% certainty. We can know things with 99.999% certainty, but not 100. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is you haven't yet... Well, fuck, I don't know. This video is meant to be about experience, not about flying, the speed of light, and causality paradoxes that could end the universe as we know it. So let's go back a bit. Some of you watching this video haven't yet had sex. Okay, this is an educational channel, so I take it most of you haven't had sex. Don't worry, there's no judgment here. You will come in time. Okay, so these will apply to you mostly if you're younger, but you probably haven't felt the worst pain in your life. You probably haven't yet experienced the deepest sadness of your life. You probably haven't yet felt the most guilty you ever will. You probably haven't yet caused the most amount of pain to someone else in your life. And you probably haven't regretted your worst action. But, and there's a big but, you probably also haven't yet laughed at the funniest joke you've heard. You probably haven't yet had the most wild experience of your life. You probably haven't yet completed your greatest achievement. You probably haven't yet had your most profound epiphany. And you probably haven't yet felt the happiest you ever will. There's a lot to life, good and bad. Now, for someone like me, an 18-year-old who only finished school 6 months ago and was meant to travel to Europe this year, except for COVID, I've got a lot to experience in my life. And a lot of what I just listed likely applies to me, and also to a lot of you watching. We have yet to experience most of what life has to offer. Experience itself. Now, if you're a little older, you may feel a bit down about the fact that you have already experienced most of what life has to offer. But to you, I say, who are you? Now, this also isn't a very easy question to answer, but I can guarantee a lot of what makes you, you, are your memories. Memories define and shape who we are. And what are your memories of anyway? Are they the decades you spent going in and out of work? Or maybe is it that time you got a bee sting in Amsterdam and went into anaphylactic shock? Something you only laugh about in hindsight. Or maybe it was when you first met your partner and you were so worried that they didn't take interest in you. And now here you are. Because to me, that's the most valuable thing in life. To have experience under the belt. I want to be a 90-year-old man and looking back on my life and be happy with what I've done. To achieve what I wanted to achieve, to love what I wanted to love, to dislike what I wanted to dislike, and to be content with my short existence as a part of this universe. And then, well, then I can die, and I will never have to spare another thought about anything else ever again. And honestly, I can't wait. But until then, I'm gonna have some fun. That's exactly why I made this YouTube channel. Death can be a frightening thought. You're not running a race where the finish line is death. You are the finish line and death is running to you. And worst of all is you can't even see it running to you. You may die in 80 years from now, 30 years or tonight. And you don't know how it's going to happen. It could be by cancer or old age or a shark attack or someone murders you. You just don't know. But it will get you. Now, not everyone likes that thought, so humans tend to reject it. Say it's not true. But how can we reject something like death, which we know happens to everyone? Well, we invent something called the afterlife. And we tell people that they will continue to live on after this life. Now, the afterlife is actually such a powerful tool that it prevents people from actually having experience within this lifetime. Now, a poor peasant in feudalistic Europe hundreds of years ago, or an untouchable in the Indian caste system today, are taught to respect their superiors and work their arse off in this lifetime, and they will be rewarded in the next lifetime. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was running that sort of society, that is exactly how I would keep things in order. But also, if I'm constantly being told that I'm going to go to heaven, or probably hell, or whatever afterlife you want to believe in, why would I feel so compelled to do stuff in this lifetime? After all, this lifetime is probably insignificant to the afterlife, right? Think about it like this. You may not treat your family super well, but if a family member is about to die, well, you feel more compelled to love them, to be around with them, and to cherish the little time you have left with them. Why do you think people say live every day like it's your last? Because we tend to experience more and have better experiences when we know it's going to end. So let me ask you this. What makes the weekend so good? What makes you miss a loved one that you haven't seen in a while? Why do European tourists love the hot Australian sun so much? It's because shit stuff makes stuff good. The weekend is only good because you worked your fucking ass off during the week. You want to be with your girlfriend because you haven't seen her in ages. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And Europeans love the hot Australian sun because they're always in the cold. How can I appreciate the hot Australian sun when I'm always experiencing it? People mostly breathe through their nose and take it for granted, but fuck, when I get a blocked nose, all I can think about is wanting to breathe through my nose again. You can't appreciate anything until you know what it's like to live without it. A beer at night is nice, but a beer every night? Well, it just becomes normal. You get the point. It applies to life. You will die, and there is no sequel. So enjoy it while it lasts. By understanding that life is finite, it really allows you to know that the bad shit will end and really makes you appreciate the good shit while it lasts. So don't be scared on the worst experience in your life that is yet to come, because it will be over, and once it's over, you'll be grateful for what you missed out on. The very fact we exist is beyond my own comprehension. I mean, the more we discover about how this universe functions, the more in the dark we realize we actually are. And it makes our own existence seem even more unlikely. Yet, here we are, hyper-intelligent animals roaming a blue and green rock called Earth. So if you're wondering what your place is in all of this, well, I don't know. Maybe you don't have a place in this universe, but that's okay. You should just have fun while you're here. I think life should be about maximizing enjoyment for yourself and others. But enjoyment isn't always immediate. If it was, then the greatest life would be lived by that of a drug addict, always seeking that immediate pleasure. Except drug addicts tend to live the worst lives, the most miserable and depressed lives. Now you can obviously enjoy things in the moment, but a lot of enjoyment comes from hindsight. Like, for example, I'm camping in the north coast on my friend's paddock, and in the middle of the night, a huge storm came and blew my tent down and had to rush everything out of the rain. It was shit in the moment, but looking back, it was fucking awesome. You know, it's just another story to tell, and it also made me move my tent to a better spot. So, you know. So while you're here, enjoy it. Learn a language. Play an instrument. Relax. Fill your existential angst with productivity. Sleep in. Wake up early. Have an acid trip. Love your family. Love yourself. Pleasure yourself. Pleasure your girlfriend. Or talk to that girl you like. Make some art. Appreciate someone else's art. Have a whiskey tonight. Or don't have a whiskey tonight. Do a hike tomorrow. Just fuck it. Like seriously, just say fuck it. Fuck it. Like, who gives a fuck about you more than you do yourself? Just do what you want to do. So you haven't yet... That's a sentence you can't complete with thought alone. You have to say fuck it and just do something. Now, to finish on a Dr. Seuss quote that a friend of mine recently reminded me of. So be sure when you step with great care and great tact. And remember that life is a great balancing act. And will you succeed? Yes. Actually, there is one thing you haven't yet done. Like and subscribe to this video.